Hi friends, it's time for the week ahead tarot reading for February 24th to March 2nd, 2025. We are already going to be heading into March and we are finally getting to that Venus retrograde that I have been talking about for a while now. So today, which is February 23rd, Mars is going direct in Cancer. So we've been in Mars retrograde. So that is going to be shifting and I talked about that last week. This week coming up on February 27th, we have our new moon in Pisces. I will do another reading specifically for that. I do also expect to do another reading for Venus retrograde that starts on Saturday, March 1st. But I wanted to just point out, as I'm noticing my bangs are very long right now, I know I need to get them cut before Venus retrograde starts. During Venus retrograde, it is not really an ideal time to make big modifications to your body or to do big beauty things that are not your normal things that you would be doing, okay? If it's like a typical haircut, you do the same haircut every single time, every 6 weeks or whatever it is, that's perfectly fine. But other than that, you don't really want to be doing big modifications to your body during Venus retrograde. It's not a good time to get a tattoo, for example, or things like that. So just something to keep in mind. I'll talk more about that in the reading I'll do on Venus retrograde. But let's take a look and see what you need to know for this weekend. Just seeing with the self card, I just love it as a little thing of look in the mirror and see if there's anything you need to do in the next couple days. If you're oh, I really want to get my eyebrows done differently than I ever have before. Not after Saturday, you don't. Okay, so let's see what you need to know for the week ahead for February 24th to March 2nd. As always, I'm setting the intention that this is for my YouTube subscriber collective. I feel like that card wants to come. If you're not already in the YouTube subscriber collective, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are part of the collective, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate your likes, your comments, your shares as I'm growing this channel. And if you're new here, my name is Beth and I'm a trauma-informed intuitive tarot reader. I do offer personal readings at my stan.store, which is stan.store/IntuitivelyBeth. I will put the link here and it's also going to be in the description of the video. Okay, thank you, Spirit. What does my YouTube subscriber collective need to know for the week of February 24th to March 2nd? February 24th to March 2nd. Okay. Yeah. Some cards had already come out. I'm just processing what they are about. Let's see what we got here. What else do you need to know for this week? Okay, so the first card that came out was the moon. I do think there's going to be some significant things with this new moon. There's going to be a lot of ability to kind of set some final intentions, but I feel like the intentions that we're going to be setting for this new moon, and again, I will do a new moon reading, but I do feel like a lot of the intentions are almost they're not planting seeds of every new thing that you could possibly want. We're in Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac. And I feel like the intentions that you want to set are almost to integrate the lessons that you've been learning over the last, zodiac year. The other big thing that's happening is Saturn just moved into the final 10 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn has been in Pisces. Saturn has been making its way all the way through the zodiac, and that takes decades for it to do. And so now that Saturn is in the final 10 degrees of Pisces, it's Saturn is in the final 10 degrees of the 360 degree wheel, right? So it's at 350 degrees essentially. And so it's going to be making its final transit through the zodiac, the final, I think we have about 90 days left of that transit. And when Saturn is doing that transit, it is an opportunity for us to integrate all the lessons that we need to integrate. And Saturn will help you to also be very practical of what is not for you anymore. So the illusions that you might, as I'm talking about this is literally the Saturn and Pisces card, the 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So this energy is going to be here for the next few months, but I do feel like it's just getting more and more and more potent because Saturn is going to make sure that you are taking with you the connections, the opportunities, the lessons that you need to, and clearing things out that are not for you. And that's part of your job though too, so that you don't have to do this lesson again, is to check on what is for you and what's not for you as well. What has just been a fantasy for you with the moon, and where you have been maybe connected with the devil card. This was the second card that had come out. The in places that are not actually for you. What are things that maybe you're not even aware of? And like, these are lessons that you've been learning, or you should have been learning all along. And like, finally, maybe it's like now, like, okay, you know the lesson, but you haven't, you've ignored it essentially. And so now it's time to like actually put that lesson into practice. And that seems really clear with the Three of Stars coming out crossed. If the Three of Stars came out like upright, it would almost be like, yeah, like, you know, you're a master already. And it's almost like you're kind of resisting that lesson still a bit. And I do feel like it's like, okay, do you want to have to do the lesson all over again for a whole another round through the zodiac wheel? No. Or do you want to integrate it? And I also feel like with the Three of Stars coming out crossed after the Devil, the Three of Stars is also about collaboration and who you're partnering with. And the Devil, you can see like this is like an unhealthy partnership, an unhealthy attachment, an attachment where like you're not really mindful of what you're doing. And I feel like this is also an opportunity for you to just evaluate your partnerships and your connections. It doesn't just mean romantic. It means platonic. It means you're at work. It means with your family, all of the different connections, even like the way that you're connecting with your spirit team. Okay. How are you connecting, and are you doing it in a way that's mindful, that's present, that's integrated, that's like actually through like your highest self? If you had a conversation with like the future version of you, would that version of you be like, oh, you are killing it right now? Or would it be like, yo, wake up. Like, let's make some changes. Like, reflect on that. Okay. I do see the Temperance card, which is also about that divine guidance. And it's also showing me like, are you going to just do the same thing again and repeat and like go and like, it's almost like you're waiting for the universe to tell you what you need to do. The universe has told you what you need to do. So it's up to you to integrate it. I do feel like the other thing about the Temperance card coming out though, is that there is going to need to be a level of patience, as we head through the next couple of months. There's going to be a lot of things that move quickly, are a lot of times the things that will be like less in your control. And the things that you feel like normally are in your control, I think are going to feel like maybe more slow, and things like there will be some obstacles or things that slow you down, things that you have to be patient around. Like, you know, a lot of times in relationships, you have a lot of control there, and there will just be areas where it's like something will kind of slow you down. There might be, as far as the things that are outside of your control, I mean like completely like globally, things like that there can be like chaos with eclipse season, with Mercury retrograde, things like that can like, things might end up like being a little chaotic, and you just have to find that inner balance during the chaos. Okay. I do see that even though there's a lot of all these things going on, there's these big lessons, big integration, all of that, I do still see the sun. And I feel like it's this reminder that like the sun is going to rise again. We're going to start the beginning of the zodiac wheel again. And it's like, start it fresh, start it clean. So like make the most of these next 90 days so that you are ready. You know, obviously the zodiac wheel starts with Aries season. But I do feel like because we have Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, eclipse season, Saturn is going to be finishing up and then entering Aries. It's like, we're going to feel a bigger shift. I feel like it's almost going to feel like a start of something new. I think what I've been getting lately is that that's going to be more like at the end of May, the beginning of June, like into Gemini season is where we're going to feel something like different. So that's what I've been getting. It's kind of like, are you going to be ready? Okay. And like, are you going to take this fresh start? But in order to have the fresh start, you have to create space for that freshness. And that's part of what you're doing this week. Okay. Let me see what else you can expect this week. Thank you, Spirit. What's going on this week for my collective in terms of career and finances? Anything that they need to know specifically regarding career and finances for the week of February 24th to March 2nd? Anything specific? Thank you, Spirit. The week of February 24th to March 2nd. Anything specific for career and finances? When no cards come out, and that usually means to me that like either it's already the lessons and things that I've already talked about apply. Yeah. It's like what I'm saying, like what partnerships are going to be like right for you? Where do you want to continue to go? And like that lesson that I already talked about, or it's like, it's just kind of like smooth sailing. Honestly, I'm seeing lots of good opportunities at work good things here. Knight of Cups, Two of Cups. So it's like, make sure that you're feeling fulfilled at work. If that is an area where like, you know, if this lesson that we talked about earlier, Devil and Three of Stars crossed, applied to you for work, then you need to apply that lesson, of course. But for a lot of you, if that you've already, you know, moved through that, and that lesson you've already learned, and you're like in a good spot in work, it should be a good week at work, it seems. Yeah, Nine of Cups as well. Okay, so it's really up to you on whether, if you've done the work around work, meaning like if you have found a place where you do feel fulfilled, then I see that work will continue to be fulfilling. If work has not been a fulfilling area of your life, then that's an area where you're going to have to work on that lesson so you can get here. But so that different messages for different people, okay, for this week regarding work. Thank you, Spirit. Let's take a look at just non-romantic relationships. Non-romantic relationships, anything that the collective needs to know for the week of February 24th to March 2nd. Non-romantic relationships. Knight of Cups. And this is non-romantic, okay? And I just saw him on the bottom of the deck when I was talking about work as well. So again, I feel like the main thing, and Hierophant card here too. Okay, I feel like, because Saturn does reward people who have learned their lessons. So if you've already learned your lessons, you've already cleared out the friends that were not really like aligned with you anymore. You already cleared out like relationships that were not good for you, that didn't match your vibrational frequency, where you were going, where that were holding you back. You've already done that work. Then like the friendships that you do have, or the other relationships that you do have, family as well, they're going to feel good. There's going to be lots of loving connections coming forward. Now, that's just gonna, I feel like, apply in all the areas of your life, honestly. It's like, if you've already done the work, then awesome. Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Again, Saturn and Pisces, here it is. If you've done the work, Saturn's gonna reward you. That's how it works. And Saturn also is the ruler of Capricorn, which is a devil card, so it makes sense. If you've already done that work, Saturn's gonna reward you. The moon is also the Pisces card, by the way. Pisces new moon couldn't be more literal. If you haven't done the work, then you will have to do it. Okay? And you will feel that. You will feel that this week. You will feel that like impelling motion this week. Let's see what else you need to know about romantic love this week. Thank you, Spirit. Romantic love this week. Here's where I think a lot of you need to still do the work, because look at the Knight of Stars. Things might be moving more slowly this week. Like I said, Venus retrograde hasn't started, but we're in that shadow period. Some people say that we've already been in the shadow period for a while. I don't know. I kind of think the shadow period starts closer to the actual date, but I feel like we need this card. There's the Hierophant. Okay. So this is, again, that like needing to do the work, committing to the work. So I do feel like for a lot of you, you have done the things around like making sure that career is aligned, that you're working for people or with people that align with you, whose values you respect and admire. Again, if you haven't, then that you're being called to do that. You've aligned on your friendships. You've aligned regarding family. You've done a lot of those things, right? But in romantic relationships is where it's still been hard for you to fully do this. And I do see the Knight of Stars and the Hierophant. This is being committed to the daily effort around healing your heartbreak. Ooh, Three of Crystals and then the Death card. Releasing, and then the World. Wow. Three of Crystals, Death card, and the World. Releasing those relationships romantically that no longer serve you. Even if you're not in the relationship, the energetic ties to people who no longer serve you, and actually graduating through this cycle, right? If we're in those final 10 degrees of the zodiac, pushing through, graduating so that you're not having to repeat the whole thing again and go back around. You're really healing this. Okay, so that you can release, and that you can enter the new year really ready to be an ascended version of yourself. Queen of Crystals, she's learned her lessons. She's much wiser. She's more intuitive. She's more powerful than Queen of Crystals. That's the energy we're working towards. Okay. Any other just final little messages that you might need to know for the week ahead? Anything to be aware of? Thank you, Spirit. Any final things for the collective for February 24th to March 2nd? Any other final things to know? Okay, yeah. I do feel like there's going to be some maybe unexpected expenses for you, because my right hand is like really itching. And so a lot of times I feel like that is sometimes you have to like put money out. So and even just noticing how on the bottom of the deck, the 2 of stars, and like she's like extending. So I do feel like if you need to, you have to be mindful this week of like potentially unexpected financial things that come up that you are you're going to have to take care of, or you're going to have to make some decisions around like what you aren't going to be able to do in order to allow for this like financial situation. I don't think it's like, you know, a dire circumstance, but it does seem like you might be like, oh, I don't know how to make this work with the 4 of Cups. There will be a solution for you. You can ask your spirit guides to help, but I do think that that is going to be something that does come up for you. If you haven't been responsible with finances, that is going to, that might come to a head this week, okay, with the Tower card. Yeah, so this might be another area that you need to work on healing with the Star and the 10 of Stars and the 7 of Stars. Okay, so if you've been irresponsible with finances, this week is it's really just like all those final lessons. Saturn doesn't want you to be irresponsible with finances either. Okay, so but I do feel like for many of you, you know, this is not a week to be spendy at all. Okay, I feel like we're going into a time, and also with Venus in retrograde, it's a time to be, I think, more about saving than spending, and making sure that you are set for like what you absolutely need and not the luxuries. Okay. I feel like that's something to be mindful of for the next, like I said, 90 days. Yeah. And then it basically like, don't be foolish with your money. And don't just be so carefree. There will be obstacles that come, and like this isn't me putting bad energy towards you or anything like that. That's not how tarot works. Okay, this is like a warning of like, hey, there's obstacles that might arise, so you need to be ready, because you're not supposed to let these obstacles stop you. Okay, we have the Fool versus the 3 of Wands. The Fool is unaware of the obstacles. The 3 of Wands person is completely aware of them and is ready to go on their journey prepared. And that's the difference, because you like work on, you know what you need to do, and you find that power within you with the Strength card so that you're ready. Okay, because there are journeys that you need to take. Yeah. There are journeys that you need to take so that you are ready. And again, I just keep on seeing, I just cut to like the Sun and Gemini card. I just keep on seeing additional messages that are just telling me that like June is going to be very significant, and you need to be ready for that. So the next like 90 days, be responsible, learn your lessons, and that starts this week. So I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.